Hello there, little listener. Come close, get cozy, and rest your head. Tonight, I'll tell you a gentle story, one whispered under ancient stars. It's about a man named Abraham and the quiet promise that changed everything. Long, long ago, in a land of sand and stars, there lived a man named Abram. He was kind, thoughtful, and he often looked up at the sky, wondering about life and love and what lay beyond. Abram was not young. His hair was silver like moonlight, and his heart carried many years of dreams, some fulfilled and some, well, still waiting. He and his wife Sarai had no children. Though they had hoped and prayed for many years, their home remained quiet, filled with peace, but also a little longing. One evening, when the sky was deep and dark, and the world was wrapped in stillness, a voice called softly to Abram. It was the voice of God. "Abram," it said, "come outside. Look up." And so, Abram stepped out of his tent into the cool desert night. The stars above him sparkled like tiny lamps hung lovingly by angels. God whispered again, "Do you see the stars, Abram?" He nodded. "They are too many to count." And God said gently, "Just as there are too many stars for your eyes to number, one day your family will be just as many. A great nation will come from you. I will bless you, and you will be a blessing to others." Abraham's eyes filled with quiet wonder. He was old, and Sarai too. Could such a promise truly come true? But still, he believed. With a peaceful heart, he trusted God's voice. And in that moment, the stars seemed to stand still, as if they were listening too. Days turned to weeks, and weeks to years. And though time passed slowly, God did not forget. One day, when Abraham was 99 years old, God came to him again and gave him a new name, Abraham, which means father of many. He also gave Sarai a new name, Sarah, and said she would be the mother of nations. Abraham smiled gently and waited with a heart full of quiet faith. And then, when the time was just right, a tiny cry was heard in their tent, a baby boy. They named him Isaac, which means laughter, because when Sarah held her son, she laughed with joy. She had waited so long, and now her heart was full. And so, under those same stars, the promise began. Abraham's story reminds us that even when things take time, even when the night feels long, God's promises still shine just like the stars. So now, as you close your eyes, remember Abraham and the night he stood under the stars with hope in his heart and a promise on the wind. Good night, dear one. You are loved, you are seen, and your story is just beginning.
Welcome back, little one. Are you cozy? Good. Tonight, we continue our quiet journey through the stars to hear the next part of a very old promise, a story that began with a man named Abraham and the night the stars stood still. In the last story, God gave Abraham and Sarah a beautiful gift, a baby boy named Isaac. He was the child of the promise, the first flicker of a great family to come. Isaac grew slowly, like a sapling reaching toward the light. He was gentle, curious, thoughtful. He would walk beside his father through the hills and valleys, asking questions about the stars and about the voice that spoke in the night. One morning, as the sun rose quietly over the land, Abraham felt God speak to him once more. A test, not of strength or bravery, but of trust. "Abraham," God said, "take Isaac to the mountains I will show you, and offer him to me there." Abraham's heart felt heavy. This was the son he had waited for, the one who made Sarah laugh, the one who carried the promise. But Abraham trusted. He didn't understand, but he believed that somehow God would make a way. So he and Isaac set off early the next day, just the two of them, with a donkey, some wood, and the silence of morning wrapped around them. They climbed the quiet mountain, and as they walked, Isaac looked up at his father. "Father, we have the wood and fire," he said, "but where is the lamb for the offering?" Abraham paused, then gently answered, "God will provide, my son." At the top of the mountain, Abraham built a small altar. He placed the wood carefully, and then, with a heart full of love and trembling faith, he laid Isaac upon it. And just as he raised his hand, a voice thundered softly from the sky. "Abraham, Abraham, do not harm the boy. You have shown your heart. You trust me completely." Abraham's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of deep, overflowing relief. And just then, he saw something in the thicket behind him, a ram, caught by its horns in the bush. God had indeed provided. So Abraham offered the ram instead, and he named that mountain Jehovah-Jireh, which means, "The Lord will provide." As the sun dipped behind the hills, father and son walked back down the mountain, quietly, peacefully. Isaac looked up at his father, his heart full of wonder. And Abraham looked at Isaac, his heart full of thankfulness. The promise had not been broken. It had only grown deeper. And that night, as they lay beneath the stars once again, Abraham whispered softly, "God is faithful, even when the path is steep." And so the story of the stars continued, passed from Abraham to Isaac, and one day to a world waiting for hope. Now, rest, dear one. Close your eyes beneath your own starry sky. Like Isaac,